Hello everyone, I am Sachin Rathod, working as assistant professor in Mechanical Engineering Department from Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. Today we are dealing with the topic of Engineering and Professionalism-Part-II under the subject of Professional Ethics. The learning outcome of this session is that at the end of this session the learner will able to understand the engineering and professionalism. So under this category, now we will going for the next part. So whatever we have seen in the previous PPT, that is a part 1, we are moving for the next part, that is a part 2. In that, the first one is the types of inquiry. So the inquiry is nothing but the investigations. So like in the general ethics, the engineering ethics also involves the investigations in terms of the value, meaning and the facts. So this inquiry is categorized into the three types. The first one is a normal inquiries, second one is a conceptual inquiries, and the third one is a factorials or the descriptive inquiries. So we'll go in the depth of what is meant by normal inquiries. The normal inquiries refers to description that describes what one ought to do under a specific circumstances. It is expected ideal response which might differ from what one believes to be right or wrong. So the morality is nothing but we need to go for, we have to check whether it is the right or the wrong. So these are the common types of the normal inquiries are there. It includes the responsibility of the engineers to protect the public safety and how they should respond under the dangerous practices. It is mostly helpful to identify the value which guides the individuals and the group in taking a decisions. So this is a normal inquiries or comes under the in day-to-day life. The normal under the normal inquiries, the normative questions are as how do you obligations of the engineers protects the public safety in a given situation. So like that question is comes under the normal inquiry. Or we can go for when should an engineers have an alarm their employees on the dangerous practices. Or we can against the questionnaire is like where are the laws and organizational procedures that affect the engineering practice on moral issues. Or the questions are like where are the moral rights essential for the engineers to fulfill their professional obligations. So these are the some common type of the inquiries that comes under the category of the normal inquiries. So from what are the questions we have seen, it is clear that the normal inquiries also have the theoretical goals or the justify the moral judgments. Next one is a conceptual inquiries. It describing the meaning of the concepts, principles and the issue related to the engineering ethics. The conceptual inquiries also explains the whether the concepts and the ideas are expressed by the single words or they might be used for the phrases. The ethics that an engineer should possess to protect the safety, health and welfare of the publics are described under the conceptual inquiries. So under the conceptual inquiries the questions are like what is the safety and how it is related to the risk. So you have to think about this. So how to do the safety and how it is the safety is related to the risk. So it is the organizational question, they can think about this and according to that they can make the inquiries. Such kind of the inquiry is called as a conceptual inquiries. Then the third one is a factorial or the descriptive inquiries. This factorial inquiries helps to provide the facts for understanding and finding the solution for the value based issues. The engineers has to conduct the factorial inquiries by using the scientific technique. So multiple techniques are available to go in the depth for finding or for understanding the problem statement and finding the solution for the same based on the value. The factorial inquiries helps to provide the informative regarding the business realities such as the engineering practices, the history of the engineering professions and the procedure to be adopted when the arising the risk. Then the factorial inquiries takes the informations about this fact, provide the understanding and background conditions which creates the moral problems. These facts are also helpful in solving the moral problems by using the alternative ways of the solutions. These types of the inquiries are said to be complementary and interrelated. Suppose an engineer wants to tell the wrong things to an engineering practices to his supervisor, he has to undergo all these inquiries and prepare an analysis about the problems on the basis of the moral values and issues attached to that wrong things. Then only he can convince his superior, otherwise his judgment may be neglected or rejected by his superior. So this is the one conditions for the descriptive inquiries. Then the next part is the engineering as an experimentations. So the experimentation plays a major roles in the design process. So as we are knowing, the engineers mostly they are going to prefer the experimentations for the validations of their work, and it is a time to time preliminary test or the simulation procedures we can conduct under the design process to convert the new engineering concepts into the first rough design. So directly we are not getting the final design. So firstly we need to go for the rough design, then by finishing or by filtering procedures of the wrong things, that we can go for the final design. In that particular things, the materials plays very vital roles, or the process plays a very vital roles with for using the different materials or the processes we can do the experimentations. So in that the design process, it should be the interactive, carried out on the trial designs without the modifications being made on the basis of the feedstock. So what are the flowcharts you are observing over there? That the first one is a design. Then after the design, the rough designs we have to make according to our the projects. Then we have to go for the fabrications, assembly, physical test and the simulations. This is the next step, that is the second steps after the design. The next one, we have to check how it is going to look when we are getting the final products. So for getting the final product, first you need to go to check as a prototype. So the next step is to prepare the prototypes or the pilot plants or the model study we need to perform. Then after that, if certain changes are there in the prototypes or the model study, again we have to go for the design. So this process is going to go by cycle manner. Then we have to do the final design. Then after the final design, we have to move on for the manufacturing, and after the manufacturing, the last step is the field study. So this is a complete process of the engineering as a experimentations. So what are the similarity to the standards experiment? Any engineering projects or the plans is put into the practice with the partial ignorance because of designing of the models. There are the several uncertainties occurs, so that are the unavoidable things. The final outcomes of the engineering projects are generally uncertainties, like that the experiment and what we do, like the models are used for design calculation or the exact characteristics of the material purchased. These are the certain kind of the uncertainties are occurs in the model design, or about the nature of the pressures the finished products will encounter, or we can go for the consistency for the materials used for processing and the fabrications. Then what are the engineers as a responsible experimental? The engineers have so many responsibilities for serving in the society. The first one is that the primary duty is to protect the safety of human beings and respect their rights of the consents. Having a clear awareness of the experiment natures of the any project, thoughtful forecastings of its possible side effects, and an effort of to monitor them reasonably. Then the third one is unrestricted free personal involvements in all these steps of the projects. Fourth one is being accountable for the results of the projects. And the fifth one is exhibiting their technical competence and their characteristics of the professionalisms. So these are the engineers should have the responsible or it can they can take the responsible experimentals working as a engineers over there. For these presentations I have taken a reference from this. Thank you.